Hello again, I'm Stephen Wells, the host of the Motoring Weekly podcast for the Australian Historic Road and Racing community. This is episode 176. This week I visited James Nicholls at Halcyon Auctions to have a pre-preview of the vehicles going under the hammer on the 26th of October at the Royal Automobile Club of Australia on Macquarie Street. Now, James's office is in Mascot, very close to the airport, so there were a number of jets and helicopters coming over during our chat. James has 22 lots in the auction with some very rare machines for sale, so I'll let James describe what he's working with. So I'm at Halcyon Auctions down at Mascot, right next to the airport, so you might hear some extra noise today, thanks to some rather larger machines taking on and off, with James Nicholls, the proprietor and founder of Halcyon Auctions. Welcome to the podcast, James.
Thank you for having me, Stephen.
It's wonderful to come back and look at some of the vehicles that you've got in your upcoming auction at the Royal Automobile Club in 26th of October.
That's correct. So at the moment the auction is online, but as from the 26th of October at 2 p.m. we then go live. So as the auctioneer, wherever we've got to online, I take over. So if a car's been bid to, let's say, 20,000, that's where I'll start the bidding live at 2 o'clock at the Royal Automobile Club of Australia. Okay, so are the cars going to be at the club, or are you just holding the auction there with other equipment? No, the cars are going to be at the club. At the moment they're here in our shed in Mascot for viewing by appointment, but we'll be moving all of the cars on the evening of Thursday the 23rd. So on Friday the 24th there'll be general viewing at the club. There'll be a private view, which you're invited to, Stephen, on the Friday evening.
Yep, looking forward to that.
Because it's also International Champagne Day that day, so we thought that would be quite a good idea to combine the two. Viewing again on Saturday at the Royal Automobile Club, and then viewing Sunday morning, and then into the sale. But people can bid online now, or live from Sunday.
Yeah. So you've got 22 lots in the auction. I'd like to start with you've got 5 pieces of memorabilia before we get on into the gorgeous machines that are surrounding us at the moment. So the first one that I noted was the N5 Regio plate.
Yeah, that's really exciting. N6 sold recently in the region of $275,000. So we're very excited to have the right to register New South Wales N5, a very rare plate, and I'm sure somebody's going to jump on it. They're proving very popular.
Yeah. And then you've also got a 1930s Art Deco petrol pump.
Yep, which is a beautiful one. That's actually not going to be. That's the only thing that's not going to be at the Royal Automobile Club, because we can't move it. Well, we can move it, but it's very fragile. The dome light on top. We want to make sure that we don't cause any damage. It's not fragile, but it's breakable. Put it that way.
Yeah, I remember going up to the one of the museums, the Black Hawk Museum up in San Francisco, and I used to go up there quite a lot for work, and I go into that, and they had a lot of those gorgeous Art Deco fuel pumps of the 30s and 40s. So it's quite rare to see one of those. Is it in working order? Would it actually pump?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I'm not sure it takes unleaded. I don't know about that.
That's good. And then you've got 3 enamel signs from the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, they're new old stock. These have come from the person who actually made them, the family of the person who made them back in the 60s. So we've got a 7-Up, a Pepsi-Cola and a Coca-Cola. They're large as well, enamel signs, but literally still in their wrapping paper. And so new old stock, never been seen before, and very exciting to have those. I think they're going to be very popular and really going to knock people's socks off when they see them, because they're just so they're really pink sort of thing, you know.
So let's get on to some of the machinery, and I'll start by saying you have a lovely pair of Bristols.
I do. I'm coming from a man on the other side of the Bristol Channel. Hopefully some other people will get that. We've been referring to them. We have a lovely pair of Bristols. We've got the Bristol 408 chassis number 1, which was in fact Tony Crook's car, and really, really wonderful car in superlative condition, put back into its original paint colours of silver over gunmetal grey, two-tone, and that's been done by Justin Hills up in Tari. Car's absolutely magnificent. Chassis number 1, very important motor car, and with this one's got tremendous history. And the other Bristol is 406 Zagato, again in tremendous condition. Obviously Zagato with its signature double bubble roof. We had a lot of interest in this car. I think it's absolutely wonderful, and I've known this car for a long time. The last 2 owners of it. It's something that every time it comes up for sale, I want to buy it, but I just can't quite get there. Though I think it's incredibly reasonably priced, and so I think it's a really, really interesting car. And we just had an email this morning from overseas, so people are certainly aware of it. One of only 6 made, and this is number 1, the Earls Court Motor Show car.
Okay.
Beautiful car, and they both have. Both Bristols have Earls Court Motor Show pedigree, if you like. Chassis number 1 of the 408 was actually the press car and in all the brochures. And chassis number 2 was at Earls Court in 1963, and it won the Best Coach Builders Prize. So both, two very important Bristols, 2 beautiful Bristols.
That's right. And then you can match that with 2 Bentleys as well.
3 Bentleys.
3 Bentleys.
3 Bentleys. We've got lovely Mark 6 here, which is a really, really nice car. Very stately, slightly old-fashioned feel to it, I suppose, but the interior is gorgeous. And if it was me, I'd rather turn up to a posh restaurant or the opera house or whatever in this than many other motor cars. I think it's rather splendid, absolutely beautiful.
It is a stunner.
And then we've got a more modern Bentley Turbo R, which is the long wheelbase model. So this one's got everything and anything on it, absolutely tremendous. But I suppose another one of the stars of the show is the Bentley S1 Continental Fastback by H.J. Mulliner, which is just, just a glorious, glorious motor car. It comes from a deceased estate, and the widow, has wonderful memories for her of her husband and what they did in the car. And I was a bit worried when I went to go and see the car with deceased estate. I knew it was going to be a great motor car because it's intrinsically a great motor car. But what really surprised me when I saw it was the condition it's in, which is absolutely magnificent, both internally, externally. Paint's great, the car drives well, it's been looked after so well, and it's absolutely, absolutely stunning motor car.
It's an interesting shade of green. Does it have a particular name?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I can't answer it.
It is.
Let's call it apple Sherwood green.
Yes.
With a tinge of British racing thrown in. I don't know, but it is lovely.
It is.
Original colour, and really, really nice. It's sort of a pale green metallic.
It's got that feel. Every time I see a Bentley like this, it always reminds me of Keith Richards rolling up from through France at high speed in immaculate comfort and maybe relaxed in the back whilst his chauffeur is giving it the beans.
Well, I think obviously it's a 2-door car, but you would either drive it yourself or have your chauffeur. And I think mentioning the south of France, this is the sort of car you jump into on a Friday in London and head down off on your holes. Right. Huge boot for putting your girlfriend's bikinis in and
and the
wine, the champagne on the way down. I mean, it's just brilliant motor car. I mean, gorgeous. And
next to us is a 122 Volvo, which I've been watching a couple of guys race these in the historic racing, which has been entertaining. But my uncle actually had one of these as a wagon, which towed his race car back in the early 70s. So I've got fond memories of the 122 Volvos.
Yeah, it's a really interesting car. It's a 122S. It's in nice condition. It's got it comes with its original wheels, so it's got a really interesting set of wheels on it, which are rather nice. It's also got its original steering wheel. So this one's been sort of rallied up a bit. It's got some nice wheels, different steering wheel, but we've got all the original parts. And it's a very nice car, very torquey, got that cam, and rather a fun car, especially at the price.
Yeah. And over in the corner, you've got a Mark 9 Jaguar.
Yeah, that's a really interesting car. Again, very like the Bentley Mark 6, a sort of rather stately and impressive automobile. Two-tone, I suppose, carmine red over red, and lovely red interior. It's a really strong car, I think. Sunroof, everything works on it. Impressive. Again, like the Bentley Mark 6, it's got that slightly dated feel. Not dated, that's the wrong word, because I think they go anywhere and look great anywhere.
Yes.
But that sort of very distinguished 50s feel to it, you know.
Certainly something, as you said about the Bentley, if you're running this down a road, people are going to stop and look at it, and especially if you roll up at an event like your auction at the Automobile Club, people would certainly stop and take note.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big machine as well, isn't it? And it's an impressive car. I think very attractive in that two-tone.
Yes.
And a bit of a head-turner, as you say.
It is, yeah. And then we've got a pair of MGs. The MGR V8, first of all.
You want to talk about the MGR V8? Let's talk about the MGB Roadster first of all, because that'll lead me into the more modern one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll actually talk about the MGB Roadster, because this is a 1965 in red. And my very first car was a 1965 red MGB Roadster, built in April of 65. So I used to drive around in a car that was only 3 months younger than me. And I took it racing with the MG Owners Club series and ran it in that for a while. So again, I've got fond memories of the MGBs.
Well, you were telling me earlier that you've just sold one of your cars, so maybe this is, you can relive your youth in this one. But I mean, I think that's what MGBs are all about, aren't they?
Yes.
Today, reliving your youth. If you remember the ads from the period, your mother wouldn't like it. With a sexy mini-skirted girl and some loose bloke with long hair.
I can tell you a story about that. So we had a Vauxhall Cavalier diesel.
I laughed at that.
Yes, because my father ran diesel equipment and bits and pieces, and I think he got fed up with the Jags after a while and got this diesel. And my mum had been up in London coming back on the train, and my father gave me the keys to the Vauxhall and said, go and pick your mother up from the station. And I turned up in the Vauxhall and she said, what are you doing in this? I was expecting the MG. I'd much rather have come home in the MG.
Well, so your mother did like it.
She did. She would approve of any sports car.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lovely little car, and you can't go wrong with an MGB Roadster. They're cheap, they're cheerful, you can do the maintenance yourself, but they still look the part.
They do.
They go lovely, drive really well. Great classic car, very usable, fun, friendly, excellent.
Okay, the modern stuff then.
Well, the more
semi-modern,
moving up into the MGR V8, which was basically, sort of harking back to the MGB, but built by Rover, and with a 3.9 litre engine, and this goes like stink. Very well manufactured, beautifully appointed, luxurious wood, ruched leather, very fast indeed. And very, very popular in Japan. And this car actually comes out of one of the those delivered to Japan. In fact, I think more went to Japan than anywhere else.
Yeah. I read that they were a massive hit in Japan when they came out, which you can understand because a lot of them were buying those smaller cars like the MX-5, which clearly has become a major model in its own right. But to them to get into a vehicle almost the same size but with buckets of power would be quite something.
3.9 litre engine.
Yeah.
It's a very, very powerful motor car, very well built, and in a sort of a pastiche of British racing green.
Yes.
It's sort of a metallic mid-green, sort of giving that idea of British racing green, but a different shade with a lovely biscuit interior,
Yes.
leather interior. So I think it's a really fine motor car, and you don't see many of them. So I think 2000 went to Japan. This is one of those. So an original right-hand drive car, which is great. It's not been converted or anything like that from left to right, or it is a right-hand drive car because it went to Japan.
Yeah. So can we talk about some of the French cars you've got? You've got a 205 GTI in the background.
We'll go past this old Amel car, which is beautiful, but not in the auction. That's a French car.
Yes.
We're going to look at this 205 GTI, which is we've got a lot of green cars in the auction. And this one, you've asked me about what colour. This is called Sherwood Green.
Yep.
No, that's wrong. This is not Sherwood Green. I'm going to remember it when we finish the podcast. Is it Savannah Green? I can't remember.
Yep.
Brain's gone. But 205 GTI, what more can you say? Every boy racer's dream.
Yes.
Great little car. This one's been very well maintained, so it's not been thrashed, it's not been hammered into the ground. Presents very well, very desirable. It's the 1.9, which is of course the most desirable as opposed to the 1.6.
Yeah. And then you talking about you had a DS23 Safari that we can't see today, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a really nice car. That's we haven't got enough room to get everything in, so we're going to chuck one or two out that aren't in the auction.
But you did manage to squeeze in the back the Mahari, Citroen Mahari.
The Citroen Mahari, which I suppose is the French, for those who don't know it, is the sort of French mini moke. A typical beach car, if you like, to take your, again, if you're in the south of France, having driven down in your Bentley Continental,
you jump in one of these.
You jump in this with the sail bag in the back and your champagne in the back to go to the port to drop off everything onto your boat.
Yes.
This is a really nice car. We used the owner, and I helped him a couple of months ago now. We did a photo shoot with it, 'cause it's such a fun thing with three pretty girls who are in a pop group, and they use this as a prop for the photo shoot. It's a really great fun thing. I remember in 1985, 86, I was a sailing instructor in Greece, and we had one of these as our sort of company vehicle for, again, throwing all the gear into the back to move it to this boat and that boat. Great fun thing. Basically, a beach-going version of the 2CV.
Yes, and what I love about them is they look like they've just been stamped in a cardboard box factory, because they've got all of the ribbing on the side and bits and pieces. It was a cheap way of getting out and about, like the 2CV and the Renault 4 of its day.
I want a Renault 4. And the great thing is, though, it's got side curtains and it's got a roof, and so you can be protected from the elements if necessary.
Yeah, and if we talk about canvas and bits and pieces, we've got the Velorex next to us, which is a very unusual car. Is it German?
No, it's originally Czechoslovakian, so today we'd say Czech Republic, I suppose, but when this was built, it was still Czechoslovakia, and they were designed really in the initial stages for disabled people. Right. It's a three-wheeler, very cheap and basic, very small frame, covered with sort of plastic. There is no real body to it at all. Yeah. But this goes really well. It's a fun little thing. if you like your micro cars and three-wheelers, you should have one of these in your collection for sure. It's a really great thing. It's a sort of cross between a motorbike and a motor car. It's got a motorbike engine at the back, but it powers along quite well.
The throwback to the 50s, again, I think they built a lot of cars for, people who came out of the war, minus bits of their body, and Britain had a lot of these micro cars that were designed for people that had an incident during wartime. This one just looks absolutely amazing. I could imagine seeing that again, around a beachside or, a little suburb somewhere with a town square.
Yeah, I think I can see it just parked outside the cafe sort of thing. But again, it looks to me like a little aeroplane without wings almost, the cockpit of an aeroplane without wings, with some wheels attached.
Yes.
It's a really marvellous machine. And again, we talk about the 2CV, the Mahari, and these cars, they were an affordable way for people, like Cinquecento in Italy, an affordable way for people to get around and about.
Yes.
Particularly in those countries that had difficult times during the war, and obviously Czechoslovakia was under the heel of those
Soviets.
nasty oppressors at the time. But a Velarex, it's a fun thing.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about something a bit more nice then. You've got a couple of Porsches as well, although one is a rough 911.
Well, is it a Porsche or is it a roof?
Yeah.
It's amazing motor car, very, very rare. So roof, still make cars today. They are authorized by Porsche, by the factory, to take their cars and to, a 911 and to soup it up, rev it up, and make it into a roof. So it's fully endorsed by the factory, but it's a roof rather than a Porsche. It's badged as a roof, but it comes with the blessing of Porsche. Amazing machine, finished in Porsche Guards red. Very, very special. This was the first roof into North America.
Right.
And, it's the equivalent of a Singer, that type of thing, which if you buy a Singer today in Australia, they'll probably cost you $4 million. This roof will cost you around about $750,000 we'd expect on that. A very rare car, great provenance and history. Really exciting.
Excellent. Okay. And then the Boxster.
Well, this is probably at the other end of the spectrum of Porsches. The roof is one of the greatest Porsches that you can get, and the Boxster, I suppose, is a little bit of a, the sort of an introductory Porsche, if you like, and particularly this one. But it's in lovely condition, in a really nice shade of yellow. The current owner, a lovely gentleman and his wife, they've had it for 20 years. They don't drive. They came when they dropped it off, and I said, "Would you like a lift to the station?" "Oh, no, we'll walk. We walk everywhere," they said. They're keeping fit and young and healthy by walking. They said they never use the car, so hence it's being sold. Having said they never use it, it's been regularly serviced, even though it's had very minimal usage. Everything is as it should be. It's got one slight ding on the front bumper. I think the old boy perhaps was... his driving skills are also starting to let him down. So it's got a very small ding on the front. But apart from that, it's in fantastic condition. And where else could you buy a Porsche, a convertible Porsche for $15,000, $20,000, something like that?
And the last car that I can see is a homegrown beast, the W1 GTSR Holden HSV. That is sitting at the very front. What's the history of it?
Well, this is a 2017 car. It's only done 4,000 kilometres. A gentleman bought it, and he's used it very sparingly. He drove it up from the Hunter Valley to drop it off, so it might have done 4,100 by now. But the car is just unbelievable. It's in this special gold, and I can tell you the actual colour of this. This is called Light My Fire, as in, come on baby, light my fire, try to set the night on fire.
Which you probably could with one of these.
This was the fastest production Holden ever produced. HSV GTRS W1. Very, very desirable, limited edition, beautiful Alcantara interior. This goes like the proverbial what's it off the shovel. It's amazing. Check out the catalogue description. It tells you all about that. If you go back and look at the original specs, it's got everything. So this is no ordinary Commodore. And as the HSV slogan said, the Holden Special Vehicles, I want one.
Yes. So you've got the app running, you've got online at the moment. So you said earlier that if you wanted to bid and put in a bid, you can do today. And I noticed that some of them already have bids on. And so you're encouraging people to go look at the catalogue, make a selection. There's such a number of rare beasts in this 17 cars that you've got, which is quite amazing. And then come and have a look at them in Mascot by appointment, and then make sure, to be at the auction if you're serious about picking one up.
That's right. I mean, if you want to look at the cars now, give me a call, 0409 327 220. You can download the app, you can go online, you can bid on the app, you can bid online, and bidding has already started. So some of the cars have got some good bids on them, some have got 1 or 2 bids on them, and some haven't been loved at all yet. So there's still plenty of time. And then from the 24th, Friday the 24th, general viewing at the Royal Automobile Club, 89 Macquarie Street. If you fancy a glass of champagne on International International Champagne Day on Friday the 24th, we will have a private view at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So all of you and your listeners are invited, Stephen. General viewing on Saturday, general viewing Sunday morning, and then the auction live, picking up where any of the bids are from online. And the club will be open to everybody, so please come along and join us.
Perfect. And just to finish off, as most of my listeners hopefully will know that you are the founder of the Sydney Harbour Concourse. We're into, 6 months and counting before the next comes along, which is March of next year. How are you going with that, and anything sort of early highlights that you'd like to mention?
We've got some incredible cars coming. Some really amazing things. We've got a Japanese domestic market class for the first time with some, Toyota 2000 GT and some other exciting things like that. As usual, we've got a bevy of Italian beauties. What else have we got? We've got some pre-war cars. We've got a fantastic Delage, a lovely Bugatti, Type 57 with a body by Graber, which is very drop head coupe, incredible. Rolls-Royce 120th, yes, 100. No, what year are we? 100 whatever years of anyway, lots of Rolls-Royces, old ones, pre-war ones. We're also celebrating 1926. Mercedes-Benz became Mercedes-Benz. Benz was started in the 1920 or whenever it was, but 26 was when it became officially Mercedes-Benz. As indeed, so we'll have lots of nice Mercedes and lots of nice Aston Martins, because Aston Martin became Aston Martin Motors again in 1926. Before that it was Bamford Martin. So that's really exciting. So 100 years of Aston Martin, 100 years of Mercedes-Benz, however many years, for whatever I said, of Rolls-Royce. What else have we got? We've got some really wonderful modern cars. So we've got, if you've never seen a car by Gordon Murray, and which not many people have, come along and see that. It's going to be really exciting. We've got some very exciting stuff being planned. I've got a meeting shortly today to help bring that to fruition. So watch this space. It's going to be the best one yet. It's our 8th edition. It's going to be really, really, really good, I think.
So this year, I should say, the number of days you had, each one was a different theme. Are you doing a similar thing?
Similar, when we parade the cars. So The event starts on Friday the 27th of February, and that's really judging day for the cars in the concours. Saturday the 28th, we sort of push the hypercars a little bit, and Sunday the 1st of March, it'll be new energy vehicles. I think that sounds better than electric. But all of the cars are all on show over all 3 days. So it's only a slight sort of emphasis each day. Everything is there. And of course, I mentioned International Champagne Day. Champagne Pommery are one of our major sponsors, so I suggest you get along to that event.
Okay, and that's again smack in the middle of the harbour?
Smack in the middle of the harbour. We were originally going to be the weekend later, but then they changed the F1 date, so we've moved forward to say 27th of Feb to 1st of March, smack in the middle of the harbour on Cockatoo Island. And it's on the same harbour that weekend Sail GP is on. So there'll be lots of good boats flying around. Okay, so
you've got quite a nice mix of things going on around you, which is going to enhance your own time on the island.
Yeah, I think so. I think, the fact that we're on the island, the fact that we're called the Sydney Harbour Concours d'Elegance, we need to show that we're part of Sydney Harbour,
I think it's absolutely perfect the way that you managed to get the island sorted out as a venue, because that really is probably the best option of any event like that in the world, because you're actually living up to the name of the event.
That's really kind, and we think the venue is wonderful. They're really helpful. It's a logistical nightmare, but it's a great show. And part of the fun of coming to the event is you have to come by boat, and I think that's great. It makes it an adventure from right from the very beginning.
It does. Well, thank you, James. It's always good to come and catch up with you, and especially every time I come in, there's always a range of different vehicles on display. Good luck with the auction, and I look forward to coming in on International Champagne Day and proving you right, hopefully, on that one. And also we'll look forward to the next concourse, because that is such an important event for not just Sydney, but the Southern Hemisphere.
Well, thanks very much indeed, Stephen. Thank you to you and your listeners. Any questions, please get in touch on either of the auction or the concours. And again, thank you for your time, Stephen.
Okay, thank you very much. I always enjoy talking with James. He has a wealth of knowledge in the historic car community and always has very special cars in his auctions. Remember, 26th of October, 2 p.m. is the live auction. However, you can already bid through the Halcyon Auction app. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast through your favourite player, whether it's Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Samsung, even YouTube, and you'll get the episodes delivered as they're published. You can also subscribe to the website, motoringweekly.com.au, and you'll also get notified when a new episode is uploaded. You can listen to all the episodes there if you don't use a podcast app. From this month, we also have the podcast delivered through Mixcloud, which, like Spotify, was originally designed for music and now hosts radio programs and podcasts. So if you like classic rock music, once you've listened to Motoring Weekly, go find White Rabbit Radio, which is our sister radio program. We do classic cars and classic rock. I'm Stephen Wells, and you've listened to Motoring Weekly, the podcast for the Australian historic road and racing community.